Alright everybody, we are back for another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. Conquest is almost done for the week. We have about 4 days left, just under when I am recording this video. So I have a top tips for it. I actually really enjoyed it so far. Conquest, in my opinion, was a huge win. I think it's probably the best thing we've had since GAC. And considering how long we've had GAC, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than playing GAC. So I'm super excited to talk about it today. If you guys like this video, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And let's go ahead and get into the video. Transition. As we have the cat just sitting over here. At least he's cute. Okay, so the first tip that I had is we're going to start off with Sector 1, especially if you're doing normal. This one was actually surprisingly easier than I thought it was going to be. However, I overestimated a lot of the teams going through it. The modifiers were super important. However, use weaker teams in the beginning ones as best as possible. Shoot for the 3 stars. However, use weaker teams. You'll need the other ones later. The stamina in the game, every time you do a battle, they are going to lose 10% stamina. So the teams will continue to get weaker and weaker as you use them, and that means they lose 10% of the stats every time they do a battle. So your teams do get significantly weaker very, very quickly, and you can always come back once you have better data discs if you can't 3-star something, so don't worry too much if you can't 3-star it the first time around. However, try to 3-star as many as possible so you don't have to come back. It'll help save some energy later that we aren't using crystals. So tip number 2 is going to be something that I messed up a lot, actually. Do not forget to check the modifiers. These will make a lot of the teams significantly harder. So if you look at the modifiers example for this one, the odds, whenever a rebel ally scores a critical hit, they have a 100% chance to attack again. Therefore, this may change what counters work for certain teams. So they are the same, so like Night Sisters will always have the same one. Personally, because of the modifiers, I completely avoided every single Galactic Republic team this entire Conquest, and I am very happy we did. I remembered from Galactic Challenges the reflect modifiers are absolutely terrible, so I went ahead and just completely skipped over all of the Galactic Republic teams. That way I had a little bit easier time 3-starring. I even sacrificed a couple data discs that I wanted just to avoid those teams. That way I could continue using other ones and not have to sacrifice something or risk getting stuck on the team and not being able to complete it at all. Tip number 3 is going to be pay attention to the lineups. So example, actually perfect that I was already on this one. So this one right here, there's no no DACA. So without DACA, that means there's not going to be any revives other than the ones from Night Sister Zombie. So that is very, very important. There's things like that. If you look at things such as the Phoenix lineup, this one doesn't have Sabine, which makes it a little easier for some of the lineups because you don't have to worry about the armor shreds. CLS, there's no Han Solo, there's no Chewbacca, there's no Chupio. So checking the lineups and seeing what it's missing will allow you to change your matchup or possibly use different data discs to make it significantly easier for the fights, which in turn means you aren't over or underestimating a squad because you're able to do a little bit more research and see what the modifiers help and what you'll need to actually beat the lineups. Tip number 4 is going to be check the event feats before you start the boss fight battles and right when you switch into the new sector. So those are all going to be right here in the bottom left. So the feats, so example for the Sector 1, you score 100 critical hits, win at least 10 battles without losing a unit, and gain advantage 20 times. Some of them are actually significantly easier than I thought they were. The first time around, I actually skipped the advantage one entirely because my first order was terrible, and I still managed to get this. A lot of them, you don't have to win. You just have to get the advantage feat. So that one came into play with the thermal detonator one. So I literally got that with my Jawas. And my Jawas are literally all level 1 except for Jawa Scavenger. and I got that using this, and I just refreshed it, and it took me quite a few attempts, but I literally got that with level 1 gear 1 Jawas. So you can get a lot of the feats done with significantly under geared things as long as you play it around right and know what you need to go for. Pay attention whether or not you have to win a battle to get the feat done. If you don't, then you can play around with it a lot more. If you do, you know what you need to work towards. Now, you can also plan around the stamina. So each one of the boss fights is going to have different feats. So I'm going to read them off for like this one. So win without using any Old Republic character on your squad. Score at least 30 critical hits. Win without losing any units. So if you can pay attention to them before you start the fight, then you can try and at least get 1 or 2 your first time around and then come back to them either once you have better data discs, or if you have it and you think you can get it then like with a second attempt. Personally, I would go through the entire thing, at least for most of the boss fights, see if you can get it on your first time, at least 1 or 2 of them, and then once you have the data discs, come back around. Because you can get data discs that will significantly help. So, example, like Dread for me was absolutely crushing for Darth Revan matchups. And I absolutely loved this one. I used it on almost every single one afterwards. So these can help you significantly once you beat everything and then can use the better data discs to come back and sort of get the feats that you want. Alright, so that was tip number 4. Tip number 5 is back to the data discs. Check ahead of time. You can see, I want to say it was 2 to 3. So you can see the one that's next, you can see the next team, and then you can see the data discs. So that means, so you can't see it because I've already beat all of them right now, but if I'm right here, and there's multiple different options for me to go down, and I want to get this data discs, example for this one, then I know I need to beat these teams or whatever teams to get to this specific location. Now, if I want something the other one, and you can also pick and choose. So I avoided the Galactic Republic ones. Therefore, I skipped out on a couple data discs because I wanted to avoid the Galactic Republic, and I did not want to risk getting stuck on the modifiers that are absolutely ridiculous. But plan ahead of time, and the data discs are very, very important, and getting a variety of them helps out a lot. If you get all of the exact same one, it may not stack very well, and then you're limited to, okay, this works really, really well on a specific team, but then you are SOL on the rest of them. Yeah, so another one with the data discs that is actually really good to know. You can get better ones. So there's like leader resolves. So there's the green, blue, purple, and gray. You can have the same data disc that is better than the other. Let me see if I have any. So yeah, so say this one was gray. This stat will be lower. Nope. I'm trying to see which one. Okay, yeah. So example is this. So vitality for the gray costs the same amount of data capacity. However, these are better, and it requires the exact same. So pay attention to that as well, because if you can get one that's better, you can bump out your old ones, put in the new ones that are better off but require the exact same amount of data capacity, or you can switch them out and add them, stack them together. So it depends on what you want to do, but pay attention to the colors. They do actually matter. So if you're going to be focusing on specific things for Conquest, and by that I mean specific teams, I would recommend it. We are going to see the Relic 8 slicing mats, scavenge mats, whatever it is, in the hard nodes. So working on specific teams for this is actually really helpful. You're going to want a wide variety of teams for this. So Darth Revan, it's going to be essentially the same things you want for Grand Arena, but probably a little higher up. You can use as many teams as you want, but the since the stamina, you're going to want multiple teams that can beat things out, so you don't have to use the exact same team every single battle and like push your way through it. So I would recommend building a little bit of a variety of teams. and work on teams. So like example, Jedi Knight Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. The ideal lineup takes away from your Jedi Knight Revan, and it also takes away from your 501st. So having something along those lines may not be as helpful here, whereas SOKR is going to only require First Order. You don't have to pull away from your other Jedi teams, or you don't have to pull away from the like other lineups. So teams like that can sort of edit where you want to focus if this is going to be a major focus for you. So there is that part to take into consideration. Number 7 was actually a tip that when I asked my wife about things, she reminded me of, and I am very happy that she did. Because when you are here, do not forget to check your mods. Because you can have characters that have absolutely no mods on them, and you lose a battle, and you're like, that didn't go very well. Well, check the mods. There might be nothing on them. So don't forget to check the mods. You can switch them out, so it's helpful. It's not something I personally would completely edit my roster around, but do at least check to make sure your characters have mods on them before you want to use them for Conquest. Now, tip number 8 is going to be one that wasn't super influential for me. I didn't always do it, but I probably should have if I would not have been confident that I overkilled them on X, which I should not have done the first time around, is teams like this. So this is a fully Gear 12 Phoenix team. I have no idea what Zetas do on the Phoenix lineup anymore. Now you cannot check from here. However, you have to go out of it and pull it up on the actual roster on your account and check to see what the Zetas do. So this is a fully Zetaed Phoenix team at Gear 12, and as you get later, there's actually fully Relic Phoenix teams with the Zetas. Now, if you're like me and don't remember them, it's probably gonna be a good idea to go through, double check to see what they do. That way you don't do a little dumb misplay that might cost you the fight or cost you a 3-star and now you have to redo it. So do not forget to check the Zetas out. Every single one of the fights has every single Zeta on them. So a lot of them, like this is literally Nihilus and he has the leadership Zeta and he's not in the leadership spot. So they have all of the Zetas, so you'll have to remember to play around that and see what they do. Okay, so the last tip of the one is going to be tip number 9. First, have fun. We have 2 weeks to complete this game mode. Don't stress about it too much. We have 2 weeks to complete it. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be for the first time around, but this is also just normal mode. We'll see how the hard mode turns around. I wish I would not have done the energy refreshes. I don't know if I would have 100% completed it by the time I did with like 4 days to spare, but I would have saved out on some crystals, and you can definitely complete at least normal without doing any refreshes as long as your account's, I mean, at least I could have. So it depends on where your account's at, obviously. However, you probably don't actually have to do refreshes if you've been playing the game for a while and have a focused account with a lot of the major squads built up already. So, if you enjoyed the video, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I do stream every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, and then I do most of the GACs. So come check me out on Twitch, and Zoo's closing down for the night.